I was actually born in Prince George's County only because of an accident in history. Like my mother happened to give labor while she was visiting my grandfather there, but I grew up in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. You were born on. Okay, got you. Right on. Is that boy? That was actually by accident, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Prince George by accident. I know that's right. I was born in Annapolis, raised in Baltimore partially, and then I've been living in Prince George now for 20 years. But
okay,
I'm an Annapolitan. The only kind of accident was that my mother was 17 and my father was 18. So, yeah. All right, I don't see him yet. Let me see. Get it? Trying to get Vince on here, but I ain't gonna have to wait for him. See what it does this time. Oh, why is it saying earlier in the page you requested was not found? I don't understand that.
To meet my real estate agent today. Houses in the hood, right where the news say all the people no good.
That's what it's about. Wow. All right, we having some challenge, but I tell you what we're gonna do. One Monkey Don't Stop No Show, so we're gonna go ahead and do it, and then just broadcast it later live.
I'm live right now, though.
Oh, darn. Got it.
Hey, Miss Collins, how you doing out there?
That's why we're talking about all black. That's why we're talking about all black.
All right, let's do it. All right, brother love, we're gonna roll with it, and we're gonna do what we can do.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's that time. It's Funky Friday. Welcome to the Piece of the Morning Show. This is Darius, Stanton. We are we with our big brother today, DJ5starr. No doubt about it. Yes, indeed. And also in the house, this brother, man, is on the street, in the community, at City Hall, you name it. He is also one of our awardees for the 25th anniversary of the Legislative Black Caucus Foundation weekend. 25 years that brothers and sisters have been coming together, leaders in our community, working to make sure that things are happening and progressing. And so we're excited to have, for the first time, but hopefully not the last, definitely the founder and CEO of Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle.
Yeah, you got it. That's it.
Yeah. What's up, Dayvon Love? How you doing, brother?
Peace, brother. Thanks for the invitation to be on. I'm actually Director of Public Policy at LBS.
Oh,
Appreciate
Director of Public Policy. We do the whole bang title on. You know,
it's all good. It's all good, bro.
Right on. Well, it's perfect that if you're in charge of public policy, because you being, you're also not only being awarded, but you're one of the panelists tomorrow. We got the Tamika Mallory panel that's going to be on fire. We got you on there with two sisters I have so much respect for. That is Aisha Braveboy, the state's attorney, the Honorable Aisha Braveboy in Prince George's County, and the Honorable Firecracker Marilyn Mosby, the state's attorney in Baltimore City. So thank you, man, for being a part of the Piece of the Morning Show here on Funky Friday. So normally we just funk it up, so I can't even stop that. Matter of fact, I got to give the people what they want. We're not going to be here long, but we're going to be here strong. Hey, 5starr. Yeah, that's right. Hey, 5, break it up for me, man. Mix it up. Give me something funky.
To meet my agent today.
Friday, we got to get busy, baby, because time is now. We're not asking for justice. We're not asking for peace. We will have justice and we will have peace right here on the Piece of the Morning Show. Darius Stanton, Funky Friday with 5starr and Dayvon Love. Crank it, baby. Crank it.
Drink some wine, friends and me, because my brother owns his own winery. That's why we're talking about all black, everything. I can give you all my gold and still expect to be a king. Call my doctor, private practice, gave me advice on how to break some bad habits. I got home, searched the web to call the black mechanic near where I live. He can fix it, gave a quote, went to my black-owned bank to put.
Y'all know Darius from Annapolis, right?
Call my lady, Lord, she pretty.
You want to hear them drums?
To this new black hub and she came around. That's why we're talking about all black everything.
I love that Jamaican funk, though.
I can give you all my gold, still expect to be a king. I heard a voice from heaven saying you worse than a non-believer. And if you can't provide for your own, trust me, son, I won't save you neither.
That's right.
We're talking
You
about
give them everything I gave you, as though they are your living God. Your family starves while you're praising me. Trust me, son, all your prayers will not.
That's That's why we.
It's all blind. Oh, like everything. I can't give you all I know. Still respect to be okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to work, baby. Let's go to work. Thank you so much, 5-Star, for cranking it up. We appreciate you, brother. No doubt about it. And again, this morning we have our own, very own Dayvon Love in the house from Baltimore City. Dayvon, man, thanks again for being here on the Piece of the Morning Show, Funky Friday. So Dayvon, tell us about, the organization and how it came about and the work that you all are doing, in the community, please.
Yeah, so Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle, we were founded in 2010. Many of us are former high school and college policy debaters. And policy debate is an activity where a lot of people that come out of that activity end up working in major think tanks, major public policy institutions. And so we noticed, when we were finished with the activity debate, that a lot of the organizations and institutions that were representing the interests of Black people in public policy spaces tended to be folks that were not of and from our community. And so we founded LBS with the intention of being a public policy entity that can unapologetically represent the interest of Black people in a way that we just didn't see being done in the public policy arena.
Man, well, that's powerful, because one of the things that we're working to build with the Black Caucus Foundation is to support that whole strategic development. So we started an initiative called the 2030 Black Agenda. And the focus is really to have us look at 6 key areas in our lives: education, health, labor and training, crime, criminal justice, health, the environment, and making sure that we understand the significance with the economics, because, we often go to politicians at the city hall, the state level, the county level, talking about social issues. Very rarely we talk about economic development. Under Armour, they'll go to them and say, hey, we want to build something for $300 million. We're going to do some affordable housing. We're going to do some set-asides. Instead of us going to them and saying, hey, we're going to build a project. We need $300 million. The tax dollars that you gave Under Armour, give that to us, and allow us to make sure that the people who are living there are people who will benefit from affordable housing, and not just 3 or 4 apartments, but 300 apartments, 300 townhomes, 300 condos, so people can have ownership versus the constant rent cycle and building no value by paying rent. So it's really exciting to hear that you all are doing that. So what are some of the major pieces that you all have worked on in terms of policy and legislation, and some of the impacts that you had?
So we worked on, for instance, pretrial reform. So anyone, if you've ever been arrested, you may have to pay a bail before you've even been convicted of anything to be out of jail. And we found there was a report that the Office of the Public Defender did years ago that said that there were 17,000 people who had spent 5 days or more in jail because they couldn't afford $500 or less. And so we were a part of an effort with a bunch of other organizations to change the Court of Appeals ruling so that, folks are either paying no bails or less bails in order to get out when arrested pre-trial. We actually partnered with State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby on a piece of vacatur legislation that allowed for her office and DAs around the state to be able to put in motions so that people who were convicted, whose conviction was based on the testimony of corrupt police officers, could be vacated and thrown out. So that's like some of the stuff we've done, on the state level. And then we've also worked on issues locally around just greater levels of investment in community-based institutions, that traditionally don't get access to funding. So there are a lot of like major white led and run nonprofit organizations. And a big part of what we did was try to direct more resources actually to grassroots Black-led, community-led organizations to work with our youth.
Excellent. Very important work. Very important work. I tell you what, I'll sit back from you so I make sure we get the whole view of you, just in your camera view right now. I don't want the whole love, all the love.
Gotcha.
So listen, one of the things that I did my master's work around violence in Baltimore City, and in particular juvenile violence and homicide. And one of the things that I found from a 2009 study, we started a program that the Baltimore City Juvenile Justice called the Boys Club. And the Boys Club was 7 days a week in the facility. And we focused on leadership development. We focused on critical thinking, which is part of the leadership. But we also focused on culture so they could learn, who they were. So we had some very phenomenal brothers, Brother Carlos Muhammad, Brother Andrew Muhammad, that were working, with us side by side. And Brother Sterling Robinson, and what we were able to do was help them see models of people who were not preying on them, who were not using them, but from their own vantage point, they talked about the fact that these were people who they could respect, they could rely on, that they could trust, and also that they wanted to model after. One of the challenges, one of the greatest things that we recognized that was an issue in that research was the fact that Baltimore City has 350 liquor licenses over the legal limit. There were 500 liquor licenses until former Mayor Stephanie Rawlins Blake rolled them back to about 350, right? But that's 350 over the limit. And when we looked at the research that came out of the Baltimore City Health Department study that showed all of the places where homicides and violence with shootings were taking place in the city, when you cross that, overlap that with liquor stores, you had a liquor store, homicide, liquor store, homicide. Upper Park Heights, Canton, liquor stores spread out, no homicides, right? So it's a direct correlation between liquor and homicide. Of course, alcohol also has lead in it. We understand that lead, you look at lead poisoning, same connotations, same ramifications from lead poisoning, suicidal tendencies, violence, depression, same thing with alcohol, right? Direct correlation. And then the last set of statistics that coincide with this alcohol intoxication is sexual assaults, domestic violence, and homicides. All three of those, between 40 and 60%, alcohol is involved. So we, in effect, have alcohol fetal syndrome, where our children are being born either by virtue of the mother or father or both because of the intoxication of alcohol. It's like crack babies, but alcohol babies, right? So how do you think, and everybody, well, it's legal. Well, it's not really legal. It's really illegal because the state allowed them to have 350 more licenses. Why would you do that? Of course, it's money, but beyond money, who's benefiting? Our Black businesses, we're not running that, but if we did have a Black business, how can we impact that? And is that something that you all are looking at?
So we've actually, worked on some anti-violence initiatives. One of the things that, in the emergence of the high rate of violence and homicide in Baltimore City over the past few years, one of the things we actually advocated is that police accountability actually has a public safety value to it. Because if, the community doesn't trust law enforcement, then that means that they're not going to have the tools to actually be able to go after those who are the drivers of violence and homicide in our communities. To your point, I think the excessive amount of liquor stores that exist in our communities is a symptom of the fact that, unfortunately, given the years of disinvestment, the years of targeting of the criminal justice system towards our communities, it's hollowed out the infrastructure in our neighborhoods that we would sufficiently be able to fight against the inundation of liquor stores. If you go, I remember when I was, an aide to, a councilwoman in West Baltimore, I remember going to community meetings in like majority white neighborhoods, and the way that elected officials treated the people who were at those meetings were very different than how they treated folks in the majority Black neighborhoods. And a part of the difference was that in those white, more affluent neighborhoods, they were a whole lot more organized, but they also, came to the meeting with a sense of power, right? They came to the meeting with the idea that we're in charge and you serve us, right? And I think that's a part of, one of the things that's going to be necessary in getting rid of the inundation of things like liquor stores in our neighborhoods is building the kind of civic and social fabric in our communities, which requires investment. Like, it requires investment in our communities so that people have the infrastructure to be able to be vigilant about the kinds of businesses that come into their neighborhood. Because as you mentioned, if we're not vigilant, it's going to attract things to our neighborhood that help to facilitate and be a catalyst for a lot of the violence that we see.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Please keep me abreast of that, because that's definitely part of our 2030 Black agenda, is to address and reduce the amount of liquor stores and replace them with fresh food stores, fresh food stands like bodegas that they have in New York City. Because I grew up in Baltimore, so I know what it's like to have the fruit man come around, watermelon, honeydew melon, bananas, kale, collard greens. I grew up with that, but we're not seeing that. And also, a Baltimore homeboy just joined us on the line, who's now the Annapolitan. We call him the captain of the Blacks of the Chesapeake, Mr. Vince Leggett. Vince, peace of the morning, brother. Welcome to the Peace of the Morning show.
Well, thank you, Darius. It's always a pleasure being with you, and I follow your career since you were knee-high to a grasshopper, and it's been onward and upward with progressively responsible opportunities and leadership. So it's a pleasure to always interact with you, my friend.
Oh, man, thank you so much, Vince. And I appreciate you, brother, for the support that you've given me, for the opportunities, the business that you sent my way, the things that you've done to really help and continue, as you just did, push and promote each other. Vince, thanks so much, man. Vincent O. Leggett, a very distinguished career. This brother was a member of the school board here in Anne Arundel County, started a business focused on Blacks in the Chesapeake, really raising and bringing awareness to the historical value of African Americans on the Bay, and just in the waterways, the marine life, the industry that was there. And so, still today pushing, got a phenomenal young grandson that's running the student council down at Annapolis High School. So the legacy continues. But Vince, you also are being a member tomorrow of the 25th anniversary virtual Black Caucus Conference here in the state of Maryland. You just actually opened up a lobbyist firm. Is that correct?
Yes, I founded the group called the Leggett Group in 1990. And in 2015, I got registered as a lobbyist in the Maryland General Assembly, and looking at government relations, public affairs, and advocacy, and in the areas of housing, the environment. But my passion has always been cultural and historical preservation within the African American community.
Excellent, excellent. So Vince, tomorrow, we've got Dr. Eric Michael Dyson. We have Roland Martin. We have Vince Leggett. We have Dayvon Love. We have Tamika Malvey. We have our DJ5starr, Kendrick Tillman, who's the vice president of Black Chamber, Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. I mean, the list is on and on and on in terms of the number of people that we have representing African Americans in the state of Maryland. The Speaker of the House, who's an African American female. We want you to go to mdblackcaucusfoundation.org. That's mdblackcaucusfoundation.org. We got a special discount code for you, Weekend 2020. That's Weekend 2020. If you need assistance in coming on to the platform, registration is free to come, right? There are a few events. Only the Breakfast Roundtable is paid, but we also have a sponsor who stepped up. So give us a call at 301-453-7100. That's 301-453-7100. Finance or money is not a barrier for you to participate in this event, because we want to hear from our people. We're not just talking to you, we're listening as well. So Vince, in terms of the environment, we're about to wrap, but I want to just, understand from you from an environmental perspective. We hear about environmental racism, but, how does that impact African Americans in the state of Maryland?
Well, one of the things I would say is the panel that I'll be participating on tomorrow is entitled Environment and Sustainable Communities. And I think that's point on, Darius, because for the 30 years I've been doing Blacks of the Chesapeake, so often when it comes to issues with the environment, people kind of frame it up as a greenie issue or tree huggers. But I'm here to say that African Americans care about clean air, clean water, safe places to raise our communities. And those are the environmental issues. They get dressed up in fancy words, part per thousand and total daily loads and TMDLs and a whole bunch of scientific terms. But once you brush away all of that, it's, do you want clean water, clean air, safe places to raise your family? Those are the core environmental issues. And you have an outstanding panel tomorrow that's going to be addressing those. Legislators from Baltimore City, as well as Prince George's County, will be moderating our panel. Representatives from business, industry, as well as other non-government organizations. And so it's going to be a rich panel and a rich discussion. I guess the piece I'm going to be bringing, Darius, as the founding president of the Blacks of the Chesapeake, is letting everyone know that the Chesapeake Bay is a contested space. And when I talk about contested space, I'm talking about place and race and space. The Chesapeake Bay is a multi-billion-dollar industry, one of the biggest economic engines in the state of Maryland and throughout the region. But whenever I go to meetings or go to events, it's very seldom I see people of color. And so we really need to find ways to turn that around, to get more African Americans engaged. But it's been very difficult for many people to find the on-ramp. And that's from a fourth grader up to a post-PhD. They can't find the on-ramp. And so part of my mission and scope is to help the fourth grader find the on-ramp, help the businessman find the on-ramp, help the post-PhD that's working at our historically Black colleges and universities with double PhDs, but they're not on the power structures Rolodex, so they don't get the calls to build capacity in our communities. As you indicated, I'm a former president of Anne Arundel County Board of Education. And did you know, or did your viewing audience know, that asthma, other airborne respiratory conditions impact underserved and non-traditional communities at a disproportionate rate? Subsequently, they lose time in school. Subsequently, they fall further behind. And so again, we need to broaden the whole definition of what's the environment. Yes, environmental racism, environmental justice, environmental equity. And every time I hear the word saying environment, I say justice. They say environment, I say justice.
Man, well, that's what you have to look forward to tomorrow at the 25th Annual Virtual Maryland Black Caucus Conference. That's Vincent O'Leggett. Thank you so much for being there. We really appreciate it. You gave us a lot to think about and helping us understand that when we talk about the environment, we're not just talking about trees, but we're also talking about the air that we breathe, the water that we drink. Just think the fact that, in order for you to get water, you got to buy it.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, just think, like, if you don't have money to buy water, literally, and our bodies are made up of 75% water, and we wonder why we're so sick. We're so sick because we're dehydrated. We're so affected by COVID because we're so out of shape, because our health is not good, because we drink more milk, eat more bread, eat more cheese, and things that clog the arteries and create mucus in the body. So when you get sick, you don't have the energy and the strength because the lungs are filled with mucus, right? So these are the kinds of things that will be addressed tomorrow at the 25th anniversary of the Black Caucus Foundation conference. And we also have Dayvon Love. Dayvon, we're gonna make it on our way. But before we do, please again share with us just the Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle, the organization's premise one more time, and we're gonna let DJ5starr take us on the way. But we want to thank you and congratulate you again for the work that you're doing in policy. These brothers are working on policy, right? They're in the community on the street, but they're also working on policy, which we understand is a key component of our work. And so congratulations on your award for being honored by the Black Caucus. And tell us about, and also being a panelist tomorrow, but tell us about, the work that Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle are working on.
Yep. And I just want to say, appreciate the invitation to be on, appreciate, the support. LBS is an organization that represents the public policy interests of Black people unapologetically. And so one of the issues that we've worked on are issues around criminal justice. So we're going to be talking about police accountability. We're going to talk about, what does it mean to take, when people talk about recreational marijuana, like making sure that those dollars go back to the communities impacted by the war on drugs. So that's a big part of the work that we do. wanting to make sure that we can repair the harm that's been done to Black people as a result of the war on drugs.
Excellent, excellent. Well, listen, it's Funky Friday. We're going to get up out of here, but I want to thank our very own Vincent O. Leggett, brother. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate you being on the front lines of the environment. Justice, I heard that loud and clear. You know, I pay attention. And also, brother Dayvon Love, thank you for your work in the policy arena. And please go to our website, Maryland Black Caucus. That's mdblackcaucusfoundation.org. And you can find out, register for the conference, and you'll see all the bios and all these great people that we're going to amass tomorrow. You can go and get your registration. It's free of charge. There are a few events. If you have a business, please, we want you to be in our exhibit hall. We have 2 limits. We got a $200 hall, and we got, a vending booth and a $3. No excuse why you cannot bring your business to the table. We are making it open for you. We are making it open for you. That's right. This is Darius Say Stanton with the Peace in the Morning Show. Brother DJ5starr. Yeah, that's my man right there. Kendrick Tillman. He also vice president of the Greater Baltimore
Vice President of Black Professional Men. I'm serve as the president of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce, and we'll be one of the sponsors for tomorrow. So I'm excited to be on the panel. So thank you for pushing it through. My treasurer and board chair. Brother, I saw the votes come through, and thank you for leaders of a beautiful struggle who are powerful members of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. So see how it comes full circle, and even when you don't know it, it's still full circle.
Hey, we come together. People talk, we're not working together. You see these 4 businesses right here already working together. That's right. We talk, so don't let people tell you what we're not doing. They say we don't vote. Look what we did. They say we late. We voted early. Come on, let that go. We on top of our game, right? And this is what we're doing here. And you see the beautiful bay as we let it go. Annapolis, Maryland. There, I want y'all to get that picture with my brother. Yeah, live in Annapolis, Maryland, my hometown. Boom. Yeah, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Congratulations to you as being the vice president of the Maryland Black Caucus Foundation. And again, you continue to represent onward and upward, my friend.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. Hey, we stand on the shoulders of our good brother. I wouldn't be right if I didn't acknowledge our leader and coach, Mr. Cecil C. Burton. That's right. Cecil, he calls himself a cosmopolite. Right. We'll have a conversation on that another day. This is Darius Say Stanton with the Peace in the Morning Show. Vince Leggett, Dayvon Love, and DJ5starr. We will see you tomorrow at the Maryland Black Caucus Foundation. Peace in the morning.
Emily Tillman, I see you, ma. Peace in the Morning Show each and every Friday. I got to hop off and be a keynote speaker for Coppin Academy, their senior inauguration. I got their colors on, blue and yellow. Honor to meet you, Mr. Vince.
All right. Look at networking with my friend.
I'm gonna let her hit the high note. Somebody hit the high note right here. Go. All right, y'all. See y'all next week. Peace in the Morning Show. I'll see you tomorrow for the Maryland Black Caucus Foundation. I like
That's right. That's right. We want you to DJ the VIPs, and we're going to get with you on that later. My brother.
I'm on it. And you just keep signing me up. I'm going to keep slam dunking it. You know I got you.
Love you. Peace in the morning, baby. Peace.